What's happening, family? Adrian back with another video. So I was watching a video from one of the self-aware narcissists here on YouTube, and he was explaining what his topic was. He was talking about guilt and shame, and basically what he was saying was the narcissist actually does feel some guilt and shame for the things that they do to you, but they feel it for a second and then they just try to push it away. And that's something that I can kind of attest to in my own situation, because in my own personal situation, I know if you guys have been rocking with the channel for a minute, you know that I was kind of targeted for a baby trap. And I know a lot of women say that men can't get baby trapped and all of that kind of stuff, but it does happen to men as well. But in my own personal situation, she knew exactly what she did, because she basically made me feel like she was not intentionally trying to get pregnant, basically. So she was lying about, birth control. She was pulling the condom off in the middle of sex. She was doing a whole lot of stuff that we had never done. Like, I had been dealing with her off and on for about 10 years, and everything had been protected up until the very end. And she started like going real heavy into things not being protected all of a sudden, and I was trying to figure out why. But by the time I figured out why, boom, she was pregnant. The whole time she was pulling it off, she was lying and saying, "Oh no, I'm not trying to get pregnant. No, I can't get pregnant," and then this is coming from a then 39 going on 40-year-old woman. So you are not thinking that this person is actually trying to get pregnant. Like, you're thinking that you're dealing with a mature adult, and both of y'all are on the same page. So that's kind of how I got finessed into the pregnancy. But it's one of the best things that ever happened to me, coming from one of the worst things that ever happened to me, if that makes sense. So I have my son from that situation. I love him to death. But in that situation, I started to kind of express to her, like, we went out to dinner, and that's when she told me she was pregnant. And at the dinner, I was kind of quiet about everything, because I was just feeling a little hurt, because we had actually had plenty of conversations. Like, we had plenty of conversations about actually not bringing children into the world where they were divided in, like, the household, that kind of thing. And it's like, me telling her that kind of gave her the ammo to know exactly how to target me, because she knew that she wasn't going to be like wifey material and all of that kind of stuff. At that time, I didn't realize that, but she knew from jump, like, okay, now I know exactly how I'm gonna get him. He wants a family. He wants his family intact, because he grew up in a split household. He grew up where he had to, split households between his mother's house and his father's house. And he wants his family and he wants his children in the home with him. I'm not gonna give him that. I'm gonna get pregnant by him, but I'm not gonna give him that. So she knew exactly how to hurt me. And when they say that they target your childhood wounds, that's exactly what they do. It's like, she literally took the one thing that happened in my childhood that I wish that I could have corrected, like, not necessarily me corrected, but I wish my parents could have corrected it and, like, stayed together, and we grew up all in one household and all of that kind of stuff. And she actually used that as a way to target me and hurt me in my future with my child. So she did exactly the same thing that happened to me as a child, and she just basically reopened those wounds. And that's how they pretty much target you. They look for those wounds that you have that aren't healed, that you kind of just probably suppressed. And especially in the Black community, we just kind of take things on the chin and keep it pushing, because it's not a whole lot of outlet or release in our community. We don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of outlets in our community that deal with abuse. Like, abuse is so prevalent in our community that it's kind of like another day in the park. And that's kind of how we take things on the chin and we just keep it pushing. So Um, like I said, in my situation, that little small window of clarity that the guy Ben was talking about, I can't remember his last name, but he's a self-aware narcissist here on YouTube. And basically what he was explaining was they have that small window of like clarity where they see everything that they're doing wrong, but then they just suppress it, push it down and push it away, and then project everything back on you. So in my situation, I feel like that's exactly what happened, because when I started to express the fact that I felt like she had baby trapped me, the very first time I said it, like the very, very, very first time I said, man, listen, I feel like, we talked about this and I feel like you trapped me with this baby. I feel like, and when I said that, like her face went completely blank and she was like, I know. And that was kind of weird to me. That's kind of another reason why I think this is something spiritual and it's demonic, because it was like a voice in her that I had never heard. And then it was like this blank look on her face and she just like kind of turned her head to the side and was like, I know. Like right after I said, yeah, I feel like you trapped me. I feel like, you trapped me with this baby, and you know what I'm saying? You knew that this wasn't a good situation to be trying to bring a child into this and all of that. And she just gave me that look and was like, I know. And when she did that, it was like something changed. And that's when the switch happened. It was like the switch went off right there. And so the very next day, that's when the devaluation started. That's when it was like, oh well, I don't need no dude anyway. I can, I'm just like my mother. I don't need to be with you. And as soon as she said I'm just like my mother, I knew what I was dealing with. Like, I didn't know I was dealing with narcissism, but I knew that this was something that was inbred in her. This was like something that was deep down in her. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. My light went out. Try to get it back on. Yeah, so I just knew at that moment that this was something that was like deep down embedded in her family line. As soon as she told me that, was like, yeah, I'm just like my mother. I don't need no dude. I don't need to be with you. I don't even want to be with you. And I was like, 24 hours ago, I couldn't fight you off with a stick. Like, I couldn't beat you off. I couldn't beat you off of me with a stick if I wanted to, just 24 hours before. But I think as soon as I kind of attacked her false character or her false narrative, and I was like, hey, listen, I feel like you trapped me. I feel like you trapped me with this baby and this, that, and the third. And she realized in that moment, like, I know, yeah, I did. I realized. And then from that moment on, anytime I brought it up after that, it was deflection. So, and what that looked like, it was like, so the very first day, she accepted and agreed that that's what she had done. Then she quickly got off the phone with me, and that was boom. That was it. The next day, when we started to talk about things again, and I kind of brought it up again, and I'm like, listen, man, I don't feel like that's cool. I don't feel like what you did, you was lying about a lot of stuff, and you was real manipulative, and that's pretty much how you got pregnant. You know that I wouldn't have gotten you pregnant under these kind of circumstances if you hadn't really finessed the situation. And I was trusting you and believing you because I thought we had a strong friendship. I thought we had a strong bond. And not only that, I had known her all my life. I had known, you don't think that somebody that you've known for over 30 years would do you like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, I mean, you think that, because she literally could have just came and talked to me and said, hey, listen, I'm feeling you. I don't really see myself being in a real full-fledged situation, but I'm getting older and I want to have a child. She could have easily just came and talked to me about that. Like, I'm so open. I've been through so many things in life that I have like a deep understanding about a lot of things. So it's like when people present certain things to me that some other people may overlook, they, you know what I'm saying, I'll at least take it into consideration, because I'm like, like I said, I've seen so many things in life that sometimes some things that's out of the box make sense. Some things out of the box actually work. So our relationship, as far as a friendship, at that point was cool to the point where if you just wanted to have a baby and then still have your fun and, you know what I'm saying, have your cake and eat it too, you could have just told me that. Like, you could have just said, like, listen, I'm getting old, I want to have a baby, and, you know, but I don't see myself really settling down and being in no relationship. I may have even considered that. I probably wouldn't have went with it because I wanted my family intact, and she knew that. She played on that. But basically, like I said, in that split second, she knew what she had done. She felt the guilt, and then she suppressed it and pushed it away. And then when she pushed it away, the very next day, like when I brought it up, I was like, you know, like I said, I feel like you trapped me. I feel like this, that, and the third. Then it was like, you're a grown man. You know what you was doing. And it was like no accountability. It was like, so yeah, I knew what I did know what I was doing, but I did not know that you were lying to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You are trying to basically shift accountability here when I wouldn't have moved the way that I did if you hadn't been lying to me about what you were lying about. So, and from that point on, she never admitted it again. It was like, the deflection was crazy. It was like, well, the only reason I admitted to that was because you said it, and I was just trying to agree with you. And, you know, it was like that kind of stuff. It was to the point where no matter what I said, it was going to be deflected and pushed back on me. So that's kind of what they do. It's not that they don't feel guilt at all. They feel it, and then they just push it away. And then and that's when everything pushes on you. And I noticed that in my situation, I believe that that's when, because we had a great relationship as far as friendship. I ain't gonna say we had a great relationship because I never felt like I was in a secure relationship with her from jump. It was always just kind of a friends with benefits thing, but I grew up with her, so it was like a history type of thing. So, you know, it was that like nostalgia of us growing up together, and maybe this could potentially be one of those fairy tale stories if we do turn this into something. But if not, you know, we can still remain cool, we can still remain good friends. That's how I was looking at it. But she just had, you know, other motives. She wanted a child, and she wanted her cake and wanted to eat it too. She just went about it the wrong way. And that's the crazy thing about a lot of these narcs, is like they overplay their hand to the point where if they was just honest about what they was trying to do, a lot of us would have been okay with some of the things they did. It's like, I've heard a lot of stories where if they had just been honest and if they hadn't like betrayed and told so many lies and was sneaking behind your back doing so much stuff, like I'm 100%, like you could have just came and kept it gangster with me and just said, hey, listen, this is what I'm on, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's in a perfect world. Like, that's in a world that we all wish for, you know what I'm saying? That people would be that honest and people would be that direct as some of us are. So, because I know if I'm in that situation, I'm just going to be directly honest and just say, hey, listen, this is what this is and this is what this not. And this ain't going here, or this is going here, or this has the potential to go here. I'm not gonna play with nobody's mind or play with their emotions, because I just feel like it's a waste of time. It's like it's too much going on out here in this world for us to keep playing with each other, wasting each other's time. People dying from COVID left and right and all different kinds of things, and we are literally like taking advantage of each other and emotionally. Like that's low to me. That's like a cheap shot, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, I just wanted to tap in with you guys because I know some of you guys have heard that the narcissist doesn't feel any guilt or shame, or they don't care nothing about what they did to you. They feel it and then they just push it away, and then they push it back on you, and then once they push it on you, that's when your situation is pretty much over. So, and they're gonna push it on you. Your situation is gonna be over. They're gonna go into the new situation until something happens over there, and then they're gonna try to come back to you, and that's just what's happening. And right now, I have definitely been receiving the holiday Hoover, the Valentine's Day Hoover. I'll tell y'all about that in another video, man. But that's my video right there, y'all. I will check in with y'all later, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Salute to the family. I will talk to y'all in a minute.